Hello everybody, and welcome back to Factorio. Once again, I was playing with a buddy a little bit offline, so we have additional new tips that I want to go ahead and read just to get them out of the way. But I still want to cover them for you guys, even if it's still pretty early in the game in order to get them covered. Anyway, so assembly machines. So later on down the line, right, we're going to have to deal with fluid dynamics outside of just water. And some items in the game require fluids in order to build. In this case, right, electronic engines. Electronic engines require a fluid called lubricant, which we'll get as part of oil processing. And so you'll need to hook it up to pipes. So basically you have the ability to rotate assembly machines in order to make it as easy as possible for you to go ahead and get pipes in there. So that's all that really is. All right. So I already mentioned last time that you can shift right click, shift left click, right, in order to copy configurations and settings, right? You can copy paste recipes, you can copy and paste pretty much anything that you need to. In this case, you can copy paste requester chests, right, in order to copy logistics requests. You can also shift right click on an assembly machine and then shift left click on the chest in order to basically set the recipe that the assembly machine needs to the chest. So that way when you do have bots, you can have bots supply the necessary materials to the chest in order for the assembly machine to go ahead and get what it needs, which is pretty cool. All right, rail building. So basically, in order to build rails, you hold the rail button, press left click over an existing piece of rail, and then you left click to confirm placement. You can push Q to go ahead and clear your hand. You can only place up to a certain distance of rail, right? There's a certain limit, which is basically just your reach limit. You can use shift to go ahead and place ghosts for longer things, so that way you can kind of see where you need to trace, or if you have bots with you, they can place the rails, right? But yeah, for placing rails, it's a little weird at first. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and to be frank, I'm still not 100% used to it, because I don't use trains as much as I should. But yeah, you'll get used to it eventually. Okay, train stops. So train stops are used to automate item transportation with trains by providing nameable locations for trains to travel to. I don't think I'll do the tutorial yet. I'll just walk you guys through how to set stations later once we actually get there. But basically what you do is you set up a station, and then in the train you can set conditions that tell the train which station or stations to go to and when, right? So you say, all right, first go to this station, and then when this condition is met, leave the station and go to the next station, right, in your conditions. So you could, for example, have the first station be something like iron ore pickup, right? And then set a condition to something like, when the train is full, go ahead and leave iron ore pickup and go to the next station. And then you set the next station to some iron ore drop-off station, right? And then you set another condition to leave the iron ore drop-off station once the cargo of the train is empty. And then you can have it kind of loop around like that, right? That's a pretty simple example, but that's a really common scenario where you basically want trains to bring your base resources when the resources are much further out. So yeah. All right, so basic rail signals. Again, we'll go over this in a bit more detail, but basically rail signals divide rails into blocks. And then the locomotive engines, right, the main train, they read the signals in order to see whether or not there's another train in the next block. And if there's another train in the next block, they'll stop at the rail signal in order to avoid crashing into each other. So that kind of thing. It's pretty cool. I will definitely have to go through this tutorial later, because I'm not the best at signaling. I get the basic concept, but I'm not the best at it, so I think playing through this tutorial will be helpful. Once we actually get to trains, I'll come back in here and play the tutorial. All right. Chain signals basically look ahead to the next rail signal and essentially copy its signal, right? So a rail signal determines its state based on the signals ahead of it in order to ensure that a train entering a block will be able to leave it. So they're used in conjunction with a rail signal to build advanced railway intersections. A really common rule of thumb, especially for intersections, is chain in, rail out, right? So that way, if this block is taken, or if a train's coming through this way, the chain signal will read that this is red too, because this train's already here, And then once that train leaves that block, the next train's able to go. So, yeah. Chain signals are really good. Again, I'll want to play the tutorial once we actually get to trains. We're not to trains yet, so now's not the best time to play the tutorial. I'll come back to it later. Ghost rail planners. So again, if you have bots, right, you can use ghost planning by holding shift. And then you can also hold control in order to have it automatically avoid obstacles, which is pretty cool. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and keep trucking along, right? So last time we were here, we got green circuits set up, and as I was editing the last video, I realized that I forgot to place an inserter. This machine here doesn't have the inserter it needs, so there we go. Fix that. And then while I was editing the last video, I also noticed another issue too, which is I put this down on the bus too early. I need to go down a few, right? Because like I mentioned before, I like there to be 4 spaces between the bus lanes, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the lane. So I need to correct the green circuits to go down here instead. So let's go ahead and fix that too. No worries. No worries at all. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these ghosts here. And then let's go ahead and route that, and then bring that on. There we go. And we've corrected that issue. Lovely. It wasn't much of an issue, but for me anyway, from an organization perspective, it's a little bit of an issue. But as you can see, our red science is churning along. We're getting tons of research done. We're almost ready. Like, we're almost done with all of the red science research already. So we need to start making our way to green science relatively soon, right, in order to keep the research flowing. But I'm not in the biggest rush to do that. Last time we were here, I wanted to start building a mini mall, right? So that way we can stop crafting things that we need in our pockets as often. We're never going to get rid of pocket crafting, but I would like to at least get the main things that we're using all the time automated, right? So that would be things like belts, splitters, underground belts, assemblers, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So again, I'm just going to, well, let's see, there's an oil field here too. So I think I'm going to want to route the bus away from the oil field so that way we actually use it. Because I'm not aware of any additional oil yet. So yeah, let's route the bus down. And then we'll keep going along from there. So let's clean this up. And then let's go ahead and route this down. So I'm just going to run that down. And then remember 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up too since I'm here. And then there would normally be a belt there, but there's not here yet. So I'm going to go ahead and route this down like that. There we go. And then come up here, route that, route that. And then again, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there would normally be a belt there, but there's not. So we're going to go ahead and route the next one this way. Lovely, lovely. Turning the bus is no big deal. I just can't compete with a lake. What can I say? There's a big lake over that way, plus there's an oil field that I want to use. Okay, so now that we've got this, let's go ahead and start building our little mini mall here. And we don't have too much room because of the lake, but we'll see how much we can make do. If we need to move them all later, we can. No big deal. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and start automating. Ooh, blue inserters, yay! I love all this stuff that's going on. Look at all this glorious, amazing stuff. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start automating the things that we really want to use all the time, right? So that would be things like belts, boxes, inserters, pipes, lights, that kind of stuff. Also, since we got lights, let me go ahead and start handcrafting some lights. So that way I can start placing lights for you guys around the base. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, lights. I'm going to put the lights down here. Seems fine. Okay. Let's start by putting some lights here in the smelting columns. Get everything nice and bright, lit for you guys. That way you guys can see what's going on. Because that's always a good thing. Okay. So our smelting columns are all lit up, which is great. I've got some extra coal, so I'm going to stick it in this coal box here. I've also got some extra stone, so I'm going to stick it in the stone box here. Take that for me, please. Thank you. And then let's go ahead and get some lights on these mining operations too. That way you guys can see. So I'm going to go and place one there and there. Might not necessarily all be symmetrical, but it's okay. There, and then let's get one there. Okay, sweet. And then let's go ahead and place some here, there, there. This is a rather large patch. I forgot how large this patch was. We'll get one there, there, and there. And then we'll get one here, one here. Get one here. And I'm probably placing too many lights, but whatever. There's no such thing as too many in Factorio. It's all good. Just build whatever you want. Make it big. Make it awesome. Make it amazing. Okay, sweet. I need even more lights. Which means I need to get some copper because I'm out of copper. And I want to place more lights. So let's go get some more. Like, this is one of the things that you would want to automate right in the mall. So that way we can just grab a whole bunch of them and then just go do what it is that we want to do without worrying about handcrafting it. So yeah, that's my main objective for today's video, is getting that mall taken care of. So let's grab some copper. We've got plenty of iron, which is great. Let's build a whole bunch of lights. There we go. Lovely. Let's go ahead and get our copper mining operations all lit up and happy. Okay, there's that. Let's get our stone operations all lit up too. This is a much smaller patch, and that's okay. Can't quite reach that far. There we go. And then let's get our steam, our electric operations also lit up so you guys can see that too. I want you guys to be able to see everything as we wander around, especially at night. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put one there, there. Perfect. Okay. Sweet. Now let's go get some of our assembly arrays all lit up too. We're going to come up here to our labs and we're going to go ahead and get those lit up. There we go. That should be enough. Let's go ahead and throw some lights onto our green circuits. Get that taken care of. Let's see, where do I want to put these? I guess I'll put it here. I'll just put it up each one like that. Cool. And then let's throw some lights here too. So I'll throw a light here, and then we'll just start throwing lights every other one like that. That kind of thing. Lovely. Okay. So let's go ahead and start building our mall thing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just start by just placing our assembler, right? And our mall can grow and evolve and change over time. So I'm just going to kind of build it as we go. There's some really cool compact designs out there, but we're just going to build it as we go. And it's going to get messy, it's going to get sloppy, and that's going to be awesome. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and start with 2 gear assemblers, because I do know we're going to need lots of gears. Oops. Do know we're going to need lots of gears. Because we're going to be building lots of belts. So that's going to go up. And then those gears are going to feed our belts, right? Our belts need 1 iron plate, 1 iron gear. These also need plates and then transport belts. And then these need plates, electronic circuits, and transport belts. So let's start with the transport belts first. So that's going to come up. And then we want, I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and, no, that's all good. I'm just going to place it here. That's fine. I'm just going to place it here. Again, we'll fix it as we go. It's all good. So you're going to take in a gear. How many does it need? 1 of each. So you're going to take in a gear and a plate, and then you're going to output that way. And I'm going to restrict you to, let's say, 500. And then let's go ahead and start routing what we need up, right? So iron gears need plates. The belt needs plates. So let's go ahead and start routing plates up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and split this like that, that, and that. And then I want to make sure I output priority to the right, like that. And then I'm going to run it up here, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it on a splitter. So that way I can do that. And that. And then I can go ahead and just keep routing it around, right? Because I do need it to go that way eventually. Perfect. And then let's get this powered on. Let's get this powered on. There's that. There's that. And then there's that. That and that. Okay. We've got belts. We've got belts. Oh, and I need a faster inserter for that. So let's go ahead and make some blue inserters, because we're going to need those. Add the blue inserters to our hotbar here. And then let's upgrade that guy. There we go. Now it can pull belts out faster. Lovely. So now we've got belts automated. This is awesome. We're going to be getting tons of belts now. So now let's do underground belts. So that requires the transport belts, right? So what we're going to do, so I think I'm going to go ahead and output into a box this way too. And then I'm going to have my underground belts pull from that. So underground belts also need iron plates. And how much of each does it need? 10. So we're going to use blue inserters for everything. There we go. And even if it's a little bit slow, that's fine. And then we're just going to route that way. And there we go. And then we need to output as well. So we'll output the belts there, and I'm going to restrict it to 4. That should give us 200. Perfect. So now let's look at splitters. So splitters need iron plates and belts as well. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and limit this chest to just 1, because this chest here is just feeding the underground belt, right? This is the main one that I'm going to be pulling from. So that's why this one has a higher limit. And don't worry, everything will back up, everything will share, it's okay. I'm not too concerned. Is this waiting on anything? It's waiting on the gears a little bit. Let's go ahead and replace this with blue inserters too. There we go. Okay. So I think we're going to do the same thing this way. Shift right click, shift left click to bring that in. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, right? So you are going to be a splitter. And then I need to get iron over here, right? And then the splitters also need electronic circuits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the circuits up, and I'm just going to side load this iron here with the green circuits. So I want an inserter that way, inserter that way. We're going to go ahead and limit this to 4 as well, which should give us 200. Let's go ahead and get this all powered on too. There we go. Okay. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the belt down just so that way I can see exactly where I'm going with this. There we go. There's that side load. And then what I can do, I can go ahead and bring this over like that. And then I want to bring that over there like that. Bring that like that. And then we're going to go ahead and split off of here like that. And then let's see, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? I think what I want to do is I want to do something like that. Oh, no, not quite like that. That was the right idea, but I didn't quite do it right, I don't think. So that, and then that. There we go. So now we have iron going on one side, green circuits going on the other, and then this belt can be shared and be used to do the splitters. And in the meantime, all of our red science research is basically done, so we're kind of stuck on research for the time being, and that's okay. Totally fine. Not worried at all. So now we've got belts, we've got underground belts, we've got splitters. This should start automating shortly. Let's take a quick look here just to make sure. It may even be worthwhile to throw a second fast inserter on there. There we go. Just to keep that moving even faster. I think it may also be worthwhile. Is that waiting on anything? It's waiting to unload. So let's go ahead and throw a blue inserter on that and on that. That way they unload even faster. Okay, now it's waiting ever so slightly on input. So let's go ahead and upgrade those two. And now we're good. Now it's constantly working at full capacity, which is lovely. So we've got our belts. And look at all this. We already have tons of belts. This is amazing. We also have splitters. We have underground belts. This is going fan-freaking-tastic. Love it. Okay. Now, since we've already got some iron here, I'm going to go ahead and bring iron this way a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the iron chest there. And then I'm just going to restrict that to like, I don't know, 2 stacks? Something like that. Something like that. There we go. And again, it can be a little slow, and that's fine. I can throw an extra inserter on there if I want it to go a bit faster. But I'm not too terribly concerned. Now let's start doing our inserters, right? So inserters need iron gear wheels, electronic circuits, and iron plates. So what we can do is we can split these gears off to go this way. And then we can do our inserters here, right? Because that's everything we need. So let's go ahead and throw an assembly machine there. You're going to do inserters, and then you're going to grab from that belt, and then you're going to use a long-handed inserter to grab from that belt, and then you're going to go ahead and output that way, and we'll limit you to, let's see, stacks of 50. So yeah, let's limit you to 200 as well. That's fine. Lovely. Let's get you powered on. Make sure you're working. Sweet. So up next, we have long-handed inserters. So long-handed inserters require an inserter. So a reasonable thing to do here is to go ahead and place an assembly machine there and just pull from the same, right? And then we'll just keep bringing the resources along for the ride. So again, we'll go ahead and pull from there, and we will pull from there. And then you're going to do long-headed inserters, and you're going to output that way. Easy peasy. And there's our long-handed inserters. We may need to increase our gear production. But for now we're doing okay. But we may need to increase gear production later. But you can kind of see how things are moving, which is pretty nice. So now we want fast inserters. So fast inserters also use yellow inserters. So how do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? I'm thinking now I kind of want to move the long-headed inserters elsewhere. So let's do that a little bit. Let's go ahead and move the long-headed inserter over here. And then we're going to bring the resources over that it needs. So the long-headed inserter needs inserters and then iron and gears. So iron and gears, how do I want to do that? Something I could do here, this might get messy. And you know what? Messy's okay. I can go ahead and split off of there and split off of there. And then have you two meet up in the middle. And then come out. Like that. There we go. That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, we're definitely going to need more gears. Definitely, definitely. So how do we want to deal with that? Well, I guess what I can do... How do I want to deal with that? I'll deal with that in a little bit. For now, I'm doing okay still, I think. But anyway, so now I want to go ahead and put the blue inserters here, the fast inserters here, because those also use inserters. Now let's limit those to 4. And then we're going to go ahead and pull resources from there and from there. We should be in pretty good shape. Oh, it doesn't even need gears. It just needs those. There we go. Maybe even add a third one, because why not? There we go. Keep things moving nice and smooth. And then this one is kind of crying out for gears. So I think what I might do is I'll just build some gears right on the side. Let's go ahead and handcraft us some assembly machines for now. I'm just going to go ahead and handcraft a couple of gears here like this. So I'm going to input and then output, input and then output. And that should help alleviate that a little bit. Because again, inserters insert onto the far side of the belt. So we're going to take advantage of that. And that should get us sorted out. There we go. More gears for you. Be happy. Life is good. Okay, what's next? Now we have filter inserters. So filter inserters require fast inserters. So we're just going to build it right up here. And then they're going to go ahead and keep pulling from each other. And then we'll just keep bringing the resources up. What does it need? Just green circuits. So we'll just keep bringing those resources up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use a long-handed inserter instead of trying to snake it around. That should be fine. And then throw a box down. Oops. And limit you to... Let's just limit you to 2. Don't need a billion filter inserters. And then you need more of those. Let's go ahead and throw more of you on there. There we go. That should be fine. And lo and behold, we have very few inserters, right? Because everything's pulling from this inserter box, and that's fine. Everything will back up eventually, and we'll end up with inserters. I don't have circuits, do I? Not yet. Okay. I can add circuits later, And this will be a really good opportunity to add circuits later. I can add circuits and basically put conditions on there to say, hey, you guys only pull from this box if there's at least 50 in the box. So that way there's always at least 50 regular inserters for me to grab. But for now I don't have circuits yet, so I can't put a condition down like that yet. But I'll be able to do that later. For now though, I'm just going to rely on everything backing up eventually, and then eventually we'll end up with inserters in there. But most of the time I prefer blue inserters anyway, the fast inserters anyway. So now that I've got fast inserters, I think what else I want to do... Wow, you are working really hard, one inserter. What are you waiting on? You're also waiting on... You're not getting iron fast enough, so let's speed that up. There we go, now you're happy, right? Perfect. So now this guy's just waiting on transport belts, and that's understandable. Again, things will back up and it'll be fine. Because this one assembly machine of transport belts is pulling double duty, right? Supplying transport belts, well, it's pulling triple duty actually. Supplying transport belts here for me, transport belts here for the undergrounds, and transport belts here for the splitters. So again, I'm just relying on the fact that eventually this will all back up and I'll get everything that I need eventually. A mall doesn't have to work at supersonic speed, because you're going to be away, right, building the rest of your factory, and then as you run out of resources and you come back to the mall to pick your resources up, by then, most of what you need should already be built, so you'll be in pretty good shape. Alright, what else do we want to automate? Let's do pipes next. We're going to need pipes. So, where do I want to put pipes? I can stick pipes maybe here? Maybe here? Something like that, maybe? Just wherever there's lots of iron. And then I'm going to go ahead and restrict that to, let's say, 500. And then up next is underground pipes, right? Which require iron and regular pipes. So we're just going to go ahead and share as well. And again, rely on the whole backing up of stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and output. I'm going to go ahead and output it back this way. And I'm actually going to go ahead and just do a whole line of that. That's 500, because underground pipes are only stacks of 50. So I want 500 of those, but I also want 500 of these eventually. And again, it'll back up eventually. Once the underground pipes are all done, then I'll get pipe backup, and that'll be good. Let's go ahead and take some more belts. Look at all those belts. That was amazing. Let's take some splitters too while we're at it. Just one stack is fine. Alright, what else do we want to automate? Let's go ahead and do the lamps. So lamps are going to require me to route up copper. So let's go ahead and route up some copper. Let's see, how do I want to do that? Just trying to consider for a moment how I want to do that. Part of me just kind of wants to do it messy. You know what I could do? It's messy, but it would work. And maybe that's what I will do. Maybe what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and split this off. First, let's get the copper headed up, right? So we'll get that all headed up. Copy, paste. And then I only want like half a belt of this for now. I think I want to put green circuits and copper on the same belt. So hold on, let me do the same thing I did here. So that means we're going to want that, and then that, and that. There we go. So that's one half, the other half. And then we can essentially just merge these two together, I think. Nope, not quite right. Oh, you know what? I could have... it's fine. Whatever, it's fine. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and split that off. And I can do that, and then that, and that. There we go. That'll work. A little sloppy, but it'll work. There we go. Let's go ahead and get our lights set up. So our lights need copper cable. So we're going to do the same thing if we zoom in here looking at our green circuits, right? We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to have a copper cable machine just feed directly into the other one. And that will get the job done just fine. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. So you're going to be copper cable, then you're going to feed into lights, which are here, iron plate and electronic circuits. So there, and then electronic circuits and iron, and then you're going to go ahead and output lights this way. And we're just going to need a couple stacks of those. We shouldn't need that many, but you never know. And there we go. We should be getting lights. Yep, perfect. Awesome, 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 awesome. What else? What else? I don't really want to automate these because eventually we're going to get solar and even nuclear, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm not going to worry too much about assembling repair packs either because we don't have biters turned on. So the only way things are going to take damage is if I mess it up. So as long as I have just a few on hand, normally it's fine. I don't mind handcrafting those a little bit. So let's do electric mining drills next. And we can just place those right here next to the lights because we've already got all the resources we need right here. So electric mining drills need plates, gears, and circuits. So I'm going to do 2 of those and then 1 of those and then output. And then how many of these do I want? 50, 100, let's do 200. And there we go. It might take a little while to fill everything up. And that's okay. Because again, if the mall takes a while, it takes a while. It's fine. I'm not too worried. I'm not too concerned. But yeah, now we have mining drills. Let's also do offshore pumps. So offshore pumps need pipes. Now I do have pipes, but they're way down here. And way down here, I don't have the circuits and gears I need. So I think I'm going to just do a pipe going right into offshore pump thing over here. And that should be fine. So you're going to do pipes. We're just going to keep dragging the resources up. And then you're going to do offshore pumps. So pipes, again, pipes need iron. And then we'll feed the pipes in here. And then this needs gears and circuits. So we need 1 of you to get the gears and 1 of you to get the circuits. And then you can output 2. We'll do 2 stacks of offshore pumps. So we shouldn't need that many. And there we go. Should be getting offshore pumps. Lovely. Perfect. Life is good. Life is good. Let's do assembly machines next. Assembly machines. So let's keep dragging the resources up. I think we're going to do the assembly machines on this side as well to kind of go along with the inserters. That way everything is all kind of in a nice location. So this needs iron, gears, and circuits. So, oops, let's do that. And let's restrict that to, I think 100 is fine. And let's get this powered on. And that should be it. Might take a little while to load it up because this needs a lot of resources. I can throw on a second inserter there. There we go. And we have assemblers. Now let's do labs. Labs require belts. This is going to be interesting. Labs require belts. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just assemble belts in line like what I'm doing with the pipes here. Yeah, let's just do that. So you're going to be belts, and then you're going to be labs. And we are running low on iron this direction. We're pulling a lot of iron over here. So it might be worthwhile for me to go ahead and pull some additional iron off the bus and merge it in, right? So let's do that. That might be worthwhile. Because yeah, we are just chewing through iron. So let's inject more resources in there. Oh, now more iron is flowing. What was eating all the iron before? I mean, all of these are all just chewing through iron. Whatever. I'll go ahead and I'll merge some additional in there. It's cool. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and throw a splitter here, here, and here. And then let's go ahead and copy, paste. And then we're going to do that. There we go. Then I'm just going to sideload it straight on. There we go. Now you'll have all the iron you need. Perfect. See, sloppy, but it works and it's amazing. All right, let's keep working on our labs. So labs need gears and electronic circuits and belts. Belts need iron, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to output that way. And then you need gears and circuits, so we're going to need input of both of you. And then we're going to output into a box, and we'll do 40 labs at a time. That should be good. And let's make sure that this is working. Okay, you're going to be waiting on belts a little bit. No, it's not so bad. Never mind, we're good. We're good. Cool. Looking good. Look at all the things we're assembling. We're not going to need to handcraft all sorts of stuff soon. It's going to be great. Just cleaning all that up. All right, what's next? Intermediates. I'm not worried about that. We'll do science in a little while. Probably in the next video because we've been going for a little while. As far as military stuff, again, with biters turned off, most of the military stuff's not going to be helpful, but radars are nice. So we're going to go ahead and assemble radars too. So again, we're just going to go radar, and you need plates, gears, and circuits. So, and then I'll just do like 100, something like that. And then boom. Looks like we're going to need even more gears. Even more gears. Even more gears. Let's go ahead and add another gear machine here. And then I'm going to do that. There we go. And then gears. There we go. More gears for you. And then maybe I need to replenish here too. But I know that later on, future assemblers are going to need to draw from this, so I don't want to put the gears right here. So what do I want to do in that case? What do I want to do? Maybe I'll just rely on backup. Because again, as things back up, the gears will start to back up. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, what's next? I think that might be it for now that we want. Let's go ahead and build the armors. That one's going to need steel, which we aren't doing yet. We'll do steel soon-ish. Again, maybe in an upcoming video. But yeah, this is amazing. Look at our mall. This is awesome. Now we can get everything that we need. So that also means we can start getting rid of a lot of these extra resources that we're carrying with us for handcrafting, right? So I can do things like, let's see, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? I can go ahead and throw green circuits here, for example. Kind of do the same thing I was doing before, where I can have a box of green circuits and then prioritize the input from the right. There we go. And then throw any extra green circuits in there. I just need to bring power down, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And then for the copper plate, what do I want to do there? Do I want to do the same thing, or do I want to just kind of drop it off? I guess for now I'll just manually drop it off where it's needed. So that needs lots of copper plates. And then green circuits need lots of copper plates. So that's a great place to just go ahead and leave it. Actually, you know, I can go ahead and do the same thing. I'll go ahead and do an input priority splitter from here. And then throw my extra copper into a box. There we go. And then I have an extra copper cable, so I'm just going to throw that in here. Look at that, our science is all backed up because we haven't been going for a little while. And then I think I'll do the same thing with the iron plates here too. So again, input priority, right. Grab one of those, grab one of those, grab one of those. Pull this down, and then throw any extra plates in there. And then for the wood, I'll leave the wood in my inventory for now, because for now I'm probably going to need more power poles over time. But yeah, we've cleaned up our inventory relatively well. I've got a wooden chest, which I don't really care about. What do I want to do with that wooden chest? Maybe I'll downgrade that box to a wooden chest. There we go. That'll do it. Okay, so now let's start picking stuff up from our mall, right? So let's get some, well, we have plenty of lights. I'm not going to worry about lights at the moment. Let's get some mining drills because we're going to want to get increased resources eventually. Offshore pumps, for now I'm not going to worry about it. Labs, I would like some more labs. We'll place those down eventually. Let's get some more radars, lovely. Let's get some more assemblers, at least 60 of them for now. We'll get a stack of those. We'll get a whole bunch of these because I'm going to use these all over the place. We've already got over 100 of these. Let's grab a couple stacks of these too. And then for splitters, I'll grab a stack of those, bring me up to 100. Bring me up to 1,000 on those. Bring me up to 100 on those. And then I'm not going to worry about the storage chests for now. Undergrounds. Grab some of those. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Life is good. Life is really good. Wow, we are just chewing through those green circuits. But that's fine. That is fine. All good. So yeah, I think we've got our mall set up, and that's probably a pretty good place to end the video. So, is there anything else we want to automate before I go ahead and call it? We can always automate more later. Just as an FYI, I'm not automating these. These are coming from the Afraid of the Dark mod. And these are really bright lights, which is great, but I don't really like the models that much, so I'm just using the normal in-game lights. Afraid of the Dark does make the in-game lights a little bit more powerful, as well as the light that just generally surrounds your character more powerful. So I think, in general, that should be okay. So yeah. Yep. This is looking good, guys. This is looking real good. Let's go ahead and extend our bus out and prepare to automate green science soonish. Probably in our next video, so that way we can keep the research flowing. We might also want to increase our green circuit production because it's going gray. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and upgrade our inserters to blue inserters right now, just across the board, because that's just going to speed everything up. That's going to immediately give us a little bit of a bump in our green circuit production, which is awesome. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to start with these though, so that way I don't have to do the rotating around game. Okay, lovely. Perfect. There we go. Look at all those inserters just whir around. It's great. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. And then we can go ahead and upgrade this too. There we go. And life is good, life is happy, life is wonderful. So yeah, this is a good place to end. We've got our mall pretty much set up and we are good to go. Next time, we are going to start working towards automating green science. And then from there, we need to start looking into getting some steel. And that's going to be a fun thing because I'm already using my entire resource patch to get me these 3 lines of iron. And like I said before, I like to have at least 4. So I'm thinking I'm probably just going to go out here and tap this and route it in and do some steel smelting there from here. And maybe even an additional line of iron. Something like that. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Whatever I decide at the time. I'm not scripting this. I'm just kind of doing it as we go. So yeah, lovely, lovely. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it as always. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.